To the world, Amelia had everything. A sprawling penthouse in the city, charity gala invitations in gold foil, and a husband whose face graced magazine covers beside headlines like, "The Visionary CEO of Titan Tech." She played the part well, smiled at the right cameras, stood beside Dominic at every product launch, her hand always resting on his arm like a well-rehearsed accessory. But behind the scenes, the sparkle dulled fast. Dominic wasn't cruel in the obvious ways. He never shouted, never raised a fist. But his words were scalpels, cutting in small, quiet ways. Don't embarrass yourself with that idea, Amelia. Let the experts handle the tech talk, darling. You're not working again, are you? You know you're not built for that pressure. At first, she believed him. She folded away her business plans, shelved her tech degree, and told herself she was lucky. Who else could afford to just be in luxury? But over time, something inside her began to itch, then ache, then scream. She started scribbling ideas in the margins of old notebooks, reading articles under the covers at night, watching as her dreams slowly clawed their way back through the concrete Dominic had poured over them. Then came the message. An accidental ping on his tablet, a love note not meant for her. And in the days that followed, the truth unraveled fast. 6 months of betrayal, boardroom whispers. A younger woman, sleek, ruthless, already being groomed as the next face of Titan Tech. Amelia confronted him. He didn't deny it. "You've had your time," he said coldly, sipping his imported scotch like they were discussing weather. "You knew this life came with rules. You were never built for the real work." She stood there, stunned, not just by his arrogance, but by the clarity washing over her like icy rain. It wasn't heartbreak. It wasn't even rage. It was freedom. Amelia didn't scream. She didn't beg. She packed her things, just a few essentials, and walked out of the penthouse without looking back. Her friends, or the ones she thought were friends, whispered, "She's crazy to leave all that behind. She'll come running back." She was nothing before him. Maybe they were right. She had been quiet, controlled, broken into palatable pieces. But the woman who walked out of that glass tower wasn't running. She was remembering. In a modest co-working space in the industrial district, Amelia rented a desk with the last $4,000 in her personal savings, money Dominic hadn't managed to lock away. She pulled out one of those old notebooks, filled with scribbled code, UI sketches, and ideas about digital security. She remembered the nights she sat in Titan Tech meetings, quietly absorbing flaws in Dominic's systems he refused to see. She remembered the frustration she felt watching women being ignored in the tech world. She had a vision now, and a fire in her chest she hadn't felt in years. No legal team, no investor yet, no backup plan. Just her name on the lease and the weight of everything she'd been told she couldn't do. Amelia stood in the glow of the lone desk lamp, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. Her hands shook, then steadied. And for the first time in a long time, she smiled. Not because someone told her to, but because she knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The first year was brutal. Amelia lived off ramen and instant coffee in a shoebox apartment that rattled every time a train passed. Her wardrobe shrunk to 2 pairs of jeans, 3 tops, and a blazer she only wore to pitch meetings. Meetings where men in expensive suits smiled politely, then glanced at her ringless hand and said, "Interesting concept, but not quite scalable. Good luck, though." They never said what they really meant. You're not him. Dominic's name still carried weight. His downfall hadn't happened yet. He was still the industry's golden boy. Amelia? She was a forgotten headline, a discarded accessory trying to build a tech company out of ashes and stubbornness. But every time she wanted to give up, she remembered the look in Dominic's eyes the night he dismissed her, like she was nothing more than a signature away from erasure. That memory became fuel. She called her idea Ember Tech, not just because embers still burn when the flames go out, but because she was one. Ember Tech wasn't flashy. It wasn't built to impress investors. It was built to protect people, especially women, online. A tool that allowed users to scrub personal data, track digital footprints, and take back control of their privacy. Quiet, powerful, and necessary. At first, no one listened, but then came a breakthrough. A viral video. A journalist exposed how her abuser tracked her location through an unsecured database. The world gasped. Amelia emailed her that night. 2 weeks later, Ember Tech was featured in a tech blog, then on a podcast, then a TEDx talk. It snowballed. Amelia's inbox filled with support. Survivors, cybersecurity advocates, even rival developers who wanted in. Her once empty office turned into a buzz of keyboards, whiteboards, and late-night strategy sessions. She paid her first employee with a coffee gift card and a promise. By the end of the year, that same employee had a team of 5 under her. Meanwhile, Titan Tech stumbled. Dominic's flashy rebrand crashed after a failed launch. A whistleblower revealed internal corruption. Stockholders started selling. Then the unthinkable, a data breach. Millions of users exposed. Amelia sat in her office, small but now hers, watching the live news stream in stunned silence. Titan Tech's CEO was under investigation. Lawsuits piled up. Her phone buzzed. Dominic. She didn't answer. The next day, his assistant called instead. He wants to meet. In private, he's humbled. Amelia agreed, but not to mend anything. She met him in a glass-walled conference room in the same building where he once launched Titan Tech's flagship product. He looked older, deflated. He offered her a proposal, a partnership, a merger, a chance to rebuild, together. Amelia smiled, not out of spite but clarity. I didn't rise from the ashes just to carry yours. And with that, she walked out. By the end of that quarter, Ember Tech had secured $12 million in funding. Not from the old guard, but from a new wave of investors who believed in people, not pedigrees. Amelia addressed her team that Friday evening. We didn't just build a company, she said, voice trembling with quiet pride. We built a choice. For every person told they're not enough, not ready, not built for it, we proved them wrong. Her team erupted in cheers. Someone passed around champagne in paper cups. And in the corner of the room, under a pinboard full of early sketches and notes, hung a tiny sign, still burning. 2 years later, Ember Tech was everywhere. It wasn't just a company anymore, it was a movement. Women in boardrooms, students in coding boot camps, survivors in shelters. They all used the platform Amelia built. Governments were licensing Ember's tools. Schools were integrating its curriculum. And tech blogs no longer mentioned her as Dominic Ward's ex-wife. She was simply Amelia Ward, CEO of Ember Tech. Her story became an anthem for the underestimated. Her face appeared on magazine covers, this time not beside a man, but beside headlines like "The Woman Who Rebuilt Tech with Empathy." Dominic, on the other hand, had vanished from the public eye. Titan Tech was bleeding, investors fled, scandals multiplied, whispers said he'd moved overseas, chasing investors in vain, trying to salvage what was left. So when she saw his name on her assistant's calendar, a request for a private meeting, Amelia felt nothing. No anger, no nerves, just curiosity. She agreed to meet him in her office. He arrived in a wrinkled suit, the arrogance drained from his face. The man who once dismissed her as an accessory now stood in awe of the empire she'd built, brick by brick, without him. He started with flattery. He offered a merger again, said they could combine their visions for a more secure digital future. But Amelia didn't flinch. You don't want a vision, Dominic. You want a lifeboat. He blinked, then leaned forward. You've won, okay? Can't we make peace? Think what we could do together again. She smiled, gently this time. There is no again. You burned your bridges while I was building mine. That meeting lasted exactly 12 minutes. She shook his hand, thanked him for the lesson, and walked him out herself. Later that month, Ember Tech made a bold acquisition. Several of Titan Tech's patents, auctioned off quietly during liquidation. One of them was an AI data scrubbing protocol Dominic had once bragged about to shareholders. Amelia didn't buy it out of revenge. She bought it to make it safer, better, to right what he got wrong. The press swarmed her. Was it personal? Are you sending a message? She answered calmly, I'm not here to destroy anyone. I'm here to build what I wish I had when I needed it most. That quote went viral. But it wasn't the cameras or the headlines that mattered most to her. It was the quiet things, The emails from teenage girls launching startups named after constellations. The thank you note from a mother who used Ember's platform to escape digital stalking. The photo from a shelter where women now took coding classes funded by Ember Tech grants. And one rainy Tuesday afternoon, as Amelia sat by the window of her office, she looked at the little pinboard still hanging there. Old sketches, sticky notes, and the paper signs someone had made during their early days. Still burning? She picked up a pen and scribbled something beneath it, and now lighting the way for others. Amelia had been broken, discarded, and underestimated, but she rose. Not because she wanted revenge, but because she chose herself. And in doing so, she gave others permission to choose themselves too. Because in the end, her greatest success wasn't building a company, it was becoming the woman who finally remembered her own worth and helped others do the same. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the content, and welcome to the channel. Today's story is titled, He Let Me Go for Power. So I took everything back and more. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to check out the other videos in the channel, subscribe, like, and leave a comment on how we can improve.